Hey YouTube, in my last video I talked briefly about the movie The Road, and The Road is a very dark and very disturbing movie, and I've been told since I've made that video that the book is even more disturbing and more graphic. So just a heads up on that. Also, I want to clarify to make sure no one misunderstood that I do not recommend this movie for children and for adults that have stress issues, maybe PTSD and things like that. This movie is disturbing, and for me, it took a while when I watched it the second time to get it out of my head. And so, if you're kind of like me, then maybe it's not the best thing to watch this kind of movie. So I just wanted to make sure I clarified that because I don't want people watching it and getting freaked out and then being pissed off at me. But with that being said, though, some people would benefit probably from seeing this type of movie at least once in their life. Maybe that's all it is, just one time, just so they can get kind of a feel for how important the infrastructure is that we have and not to take it for granted, and to maybe kickstart the motivation to prepare, to be at least a little more mindful at the minimum of all this. So that's all I was trying to say, that, sometimes we can use, media like movies or books or whatnot to kind of expand our awareness. And so this was just a recommendation. And so, yeah, this is a movie, though, that has a lot of layers. And I just wanted to explore one of those layers or aspects that I kind of was noticing. And that was when the main characters were transporting their goods when they were leaving the house and they were egressing to their ultimate destination. And they used two different systems, a shopping cart, and then I believe it was later on they used a handcart. And so they're very different systems. The shopping cart has very low ground clearance, small diameter tires, and it has 4 points of contact versus the handcart, which has 2 points of contact, lots of ground clearance, and, much larger diameter tires to deal with different terrains. So obviously the handcart really is probably the overall better choice, if you're going to go and that's what you have. But then I got thinking about myself, what would be like the optimum type of system for myself. This could be different for you. But I started to look online, and the game cart that's meant to help you take back your game to wherever you live or to your truck or whatnot when you go hunting. And I'm sure it's probably made for like deer or elk or caribou, things like that. That the game cart could be an option. They typically can hold between 300 to 500 pounds. And I've seen some of the more robust ones carry, or have the capability to carry more. They have very good ground clearance. They just use two tires, so you have less, friction and less issues with drag. A lot of these game carts have the rubber tires that they're solid, though. There's no air in them, so that's good. And a lot of them collapse into a small size form, so you can store it. And they're readily available in a lot of locations, especially online. They're everywhere. And I've seen them as low as $50, and they typically range between like 75 to 100 though. But there's a lot of different brands and options. So the game cart could be something that could really stand out for an all-terrain type of option to carry gear. You could put a few backpacks or a couple duffel bags, maybe whatever it is. You could all strap it in there, and you could get quite a bit. So that's one option. Another option is the wagon system. If you want 4 points of contact to the ground, 4 tires instead of the 2, then the wagon, they have like the off-road or all-terrain wagons, and they have them that you can, change the configuration, so you can carry things of different sizes on them. And some of these wagons I looked up, they're really nice and off-road ones. I mean, they were able to carry well over 1,000 pounds. Some of them said like 1,400. Some of them said more. So once again, you have a lot of capability. Now, are you really going to want to carry or pull 1,000 pounds or more? Probably not. But most likely, you'll probably have at least a couple 100 pounds when you're talking about water and food and maybe some extra backpacks and things. So, to have something that robust, that could be a good option. So the game cart and the all-terrain wagon, I think they're really good options. And of course, there's a lot of other ones too. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there as something to look into. If you're looking into maybe an option that doesn't involve your vehicle for an egress from your home or from wherever you're at. So that was just something that the movie The Road kind of helped to stimulate as a point of conversation. And that's the whole reason of doing the main video, was to kind of get you to look at the video or the movie and see if that's something that you can learn from. Because there's sometimes you can watch things and go, wow, I never thought about it that way. I never thought that this approach would be beneficial. But there's a lot of things in that movie, The Road, that that could really help someone, especially if they're new to preparedness, to think about how they interact with people and things that they might need, essentials, and just a lot of stuff, a lot of things. I mean, we can look at the movie The Road and see that the father may have not died if he had certain medication with him, maybe if he had some antibiotics or something. So there's just a lot of things that we can kind of say in our minds, like, okay, do we have that area covered? Do we have the means to protect our family members? Do we have emergency cash? Do we have some things to barter and trade? Do we really have enough food and water to get so far into an emergency? I mean, how independent are we really? So you just start to ask these questions, and they cascade over time, and you can develop a nice portfolio of things to consider and to look into. And so it's just a prompt, really. But anyways, hopefully these videos are helpful. Let me know if you like this type of content. I can maybe expand upon that movie even further, or if you just say this is enough of this type of topic, let's move on. We can do that as well. I just thought maybe I'd try something different, talk about a movie that up until recently I haven't really heard a lot about, but I keep seeing it on Netflix. And that was one of the reasons I even brought it up, because I keep seeing it on Netflix. And sometimes it even gets promoted on Netflix. And I'm like, man, this movie's been around for a while. And either it's really popular or it's just something that they have in their inventory. They're just their catalog of videos to watch, that I was like, maybe I just need to bring it up, because I was thinking either it's being watched a lot and that's why it's on Netflix, or it's just something that they just have. And because I've noticed on Netflix, a lot of times they rotate out what they actually have available. And if I'm thinking clear, I think I've seen The Road on Netflix for at least a few years now. Like it's like one of the staples, for the genre. And so I thought, man, maybe it's a really well established movie, and it probably is. It's just that not a lot of people I talk to really say much about the movie. So I thought I'd at least mention it. But once again, it's not for everyone. It's very dark in the subject matter, but it may be a benefit in some way for some people. So that's all I can say. But once again, just look into it before you actually watch it to make sure that it's not too much for you. And once again, I would just be careful around, children. It just may not be appropriate. So, hey, thanks for your ongoing support and for all the feedback for my videos. I really do appreciate it. You guys take care. Catch you later.